Stranger will find the cash just lying there.
What?
Even though it doesn't exactly look like it, he just walked into a massive heist. While those 2 men collected their money, 20 others did the same thing at other branches. This is just one puzzle piece of a larger operation, a 2-year-long sophisticated attack that shook the global financial system to its core. More than 100 banks in over 30 countries with stolen funds amounting to roughly $1 billion US. One of the biggest bank heists in history, orchestrated by hackers. The Carbanak Group. They are led by one elusive mastermind. But on this one night in Taipei, he and his team made a crucial mistake. One that they will pay a heavy price for.
Carbanak was a game changer, I think.
Poof. The attackers, they have the password of the administrator. So at that point we knew that they were watching what we were doing.
It's very hard to arrest a piece of code.
This video was created in cooperation with the cybersecurity company Kaspersky Labs on the basis of their documentary series, Tomorrow Unlocked. Also, check out this great podcast episode by Darknet Diaries on the story, link in the description. The actual events of this hack are known, but the names of the attacked banks and involved employees were never disclosed. So to tell this story, we created Maxim. That's him. It's the 8th of April, a regular Tuesday. He works in a Ukrainian bank. He's a well-respected employee, but he has a bad habit of not installing his Windows updates. As he sips his coffee and thinks about the receptionist,
which I think is a good thing, chat, because I feel like updates aren't always good off the rip, right? There are some updates that have been fucked in the past, no?
He has a crush on. An email from his colleague pops in. It's from Sergey, his co-worker. The mail has a Word document attached. It translates into Compliance with Federal Law 115.
I was waiting a couple days.
21/7/2014. Sounds important enough. Maxim clicks on it. He reads it, closes it, and continues his very ordinary workday. A few months later, Maxim is sitting in a meeting. His boss seems distraught. Some of his bank's ATMs started spitting out banknotes at seemingly random times of day. It seems like whoever was lucky enough to show up at the right time could just grab the money. The bank might be the victim of a cyber attack. The employees should act cautious and avoid suspicious emails. Emails, meetings, stress, colossal hacks. For many, it's the same story every day. What if you want to throw in the towel and build something of your own? Odoo is an all-in-one platform that gives you everything you need to manage your business. Kaspersky to investigate their problem. Business. Visit fern.deal/Odoo15 now and start building your own websites for free.
Here's the link to the video.
The bank hired Kaspersky to investigate their problem.
Suddenly all your ATMs are empty. You know that something has happened.
This is Jort van der Wiel. He was part of the team on the case. He checks the hard disks of the affected ATMs for malware and finds nothing. Not one suspicious activity, not a single trail to follow. A few months later, van der Wiel gets a call in the middle of the night. It's 3 a.m. It's an account manager working for a large Russian bank. He says van der Wiel and his team need to call his IT guy ASAP. A couple of minutes later, one of van der Wiel's Kaspersky co-workers shows up at a bank in Russia. The IT guy on the site is panicking. Someone has gained control over their domain controller. That's the heart of their server network. If you control the domain controller in a Windows environment, you basically control everything. And without a good reason, it's sending data to China. The Kaspersky specialist starts to look for malware right away. Eventually, he finds a software that lets you watch and control a computer remotely. Could it be that the intruder is watching them right now?
Classic.
He has an idea. He opens a Word document and writes the Russian word for hello. They wait for a few minutes. Nothing happens. Then, suddenly, the cursor moves, and letters appear. The hacker answered. He adds, in Russian, "You will not catch us." To which the Kaspersky employee replies, "We will catch you." "No, you will not catch us." Okay, it's on. It will take some time, but eventually the Kaspersky team finds the malware. It is similar to the Garburb Trojan. One configuration file of the malware is called Ananak, so the team decides to call it Carbanak. This incident at the Russian bank gave van der Wiel and his colleagues
why does it take so long to figure out that you've been ratted?
Hints about what is going on, and they link it all back to those hacked ATMs in Ukraine. Now they can reconstruct how the Carbonac hackers operate. So let's wind back. This is one of the Carbonac hackers. Again, it's the 8th of April, 2014. He already got into Sergey's email account, but he wants access to Maxim's computer. So he sends out this email with that attachment. The Word file exploits vulnerabilities in Microsoft Word to download malware that contains the backdoor. The hacker now has remote access to Maxim's computer. Next step, gain access to the whole network, and he knows exactly how to do it. The hacker installs a specific software on Maxim's computer, which slows it down, which in turn frustrates Maxim, so he calls IT to come by and check. By the time the IT guy comes over, the hacker has installed a keylogger. This way he will be able to see everything one types into Maxim's keyboard. The IT guy starts to investigate.
Wait,
to do so, he needs to type in his admin password. And bingo. The hacker got the admin's password. He tries it out on the domain controller. And yep, it's the same. Now he can go look for the computer in the network that controls the money transfers and the ATMs. But he doesn't attack right away. Instead, for months he silently observes the employees managing the transactions.
Chad, this is why I find hacking interesting, okay? Is that these people need a lot of experience. Of course, I know I speak it to the fucking, like in noob terms, but these guys had to do like a bunch of years and years of doing one hack and another to get these thinking patterns to whenever they want to achieve something. Oh, we need to achieve this. Oh, that's how we get there. And they have this whole script of a bunch of things. That's interesting.
Once he fully understands the process, he proceeds. To steal the money, the Carbonac Group developed 3 different methods. One way is to transfer money from so-called transaction management accounts to their own accounts. To avoid suspicion, they raise the balances by the stolen amount beforehand, keeping the total unchanged. Since banks check accounts only every 10 hours, the transfers go unnoticed. Another way is to take control of specific ATMs to let them spill out banknotes right into the hands of money mules. These are men hired through the Moldovan mafia who collect the money and send it to their bosses. In exchange, they get to keep a small cut. The third method is the most sophisticated. The hackers set up a couple of bank accounts in the names of their money mules, including debit cards. Then they make sure they all have the same small amount on it, let's say $3.33. Then they update the bank's database, exchanging that $3.33 for $1 million. Suddenly, all the money mules have $1 million on their bank account. Now they just use their debit cards to withdraw the cash. As a side effect of the database update, some broke bank customers will suddenly find themselves to be millionaires. The better the Kaspersky team understands the methods of the Carbonac Group, the more they begin to grasp how complex this operation is. Kaspersky teams up with Europol, major European banks, and various national law enforcement agencies to hunt them down. They're able to take down some of their servers, but then the hackers start using different tools and continue to work under the radar. By the beginning of 2015, Carbonac has robbed at least 100 financial institutions in almost 30 countries. Most of the victims are in Russia, but also in the US, China, and Europe. Within 2 years, they steal roughly $1 billion. They appear to be unstoppable, until someone screws up.
Of course, a classic.
The first bank reported that over 70 million NT dollars was withdrawn illegally. The withdrawals were made in both Taipei and Taichung across 34 ATMs and 20 branches.
In July 2016, Carbonac attacks the so-called first bank in Taipei, but the Taiwanese police are quick on their feet. Very quick.
我们从被盗领的 ATM 的影像先去调。
At least 500 police officers checking the CCTVs. We track all the footage from the ATMs and back to the hotels of all the suspects.
这一个车手的一个身份，陆陆续续，接下来3、4天的时间，全部把22位的一个身份
22 money mules, most of them Russian, the rest from Eastern European countries. 19 of them successfully flee Taiwan, but 3 remain in the country with the money. Their faces are all over the media. To escape, they have to get rid of the money somehow. One of them hides 2 sports bags with some of the money at the Donghu Park. He then flees to Yilong County and hides there. But he is caught and leads the police back to the sports bags. But instead of 2, there is only 1 left. An elderly man found one of the bags and took it home.
He probably think that was fortune from God.
The police seize the second bag and search for the other money mules. A man called Bobby hides the rest of the money in 2 suitcases and stows them in 2 lockers at Taipei Central Station. Shortly after, 2 other men from Eastern Europe arrive in Taiwan and collect the suitcases from the main station. They go to a hotel to have brunch. As they sit down, they're interrupted by the police.
Put down the knife, your fork, stay calm, don't move. It's not an election with us, such a shame.
They ask the men to take them to their hotel room.
Because this must the way.
Brother, this must be really fucking scary, no? Because it's not like the police is saying, yo, dude, you're under arrest, whatever. This almost seems like you know, like... Dude, I'm about to get killed.
In their hotel room, law enforcement finds banknotes that are worth roughly 1.5 million US dollars. The Taiwanese police managed to recover 90% of the stolen money. The 3 money mules are sentenced to a little over 4 years in prison. These guys are just low-level operatives. But on the phone of one of the men, the Taiwanese police find pictures of stacks of money in various currencies. They also find emails from the suspected head of the Carbonac Group. Europol, the FBI, cybersecurity companies, and several authorities from different countries work tirelessly to find the Carbonac mastermind. Little do they know he is hiding all the way across the globe, living a life in luxury. March 6, 2018. This is Dennis. He's Ukrainian, but now he lives with his wife and son in Alicante, Spain. He's a rather private person. He doesn't really leave the house. Right now, as per usual, he's coding new malware. He's one of the best of his trade. To keep a low profile, he does most of his spending in Bitcoin. At the time, he's worth 15,000 Bitcoins. In 2018, that was worth roughly $162 million. Today, it would be more than $1 billion. But there are some things that Bitcoin can't buy. Not a lot of car or house sellers like to be paid in digital currencies.
True.
So he needs to use real money to buy these, which leaves traces. This is what tipped off the police. They start to follow the money and eventually realize who he is. His laptop is still on and unlocked. The forensic team immediately starts to collect evidence. The authorities will seize 2 BMWs and jewelry, valued at $500,000,
is that an
and of
i8?
course his bitcoins. But the vast majority of the stolen $1 billion remains missing to this day. Dennis K. may have been the mastermind behind the Carbonac operation, but he certainly didn't work alone.
We think there was quite a big team, at least between 10 and 30 people altogether that was able to pull this scheme off.
You can find the same piece of code being used by different groups.
Chat.
And it's
What if somebody has like in a hard wall, whatever, and he has the code like engraved into his wall, right, past the paint or whatever, right, and then that's the only place where it is, and then the guy dies and nobody ever finds it. What happens with the money? Does it just stay in the blockchain, just dead? Nobody ever gets it?
very hard as a security researcher to know the difference which group is using what code, because the code is very similar. It's very hard to arrest a piece of code.
In late 2018, 3 Ukrainians were arrested who were allegedly involved as well. The Carbonac malware still exists today. The hackers who use it go by many names: Fin7, Joker's Dash, Carbon, and Cobalt Spider. Experts suspect that those Russian cybercriminals are given free rein by the Russian government in order to cause chaos in the Western world. Maxim's bank lost millions. As we know now, this could have easily been avoided. The Carbonac group exploited a vulnerability in Microsoft Word, one that had already been fixed 3 years prior, but Maxim was too distracted to install those Windows updates.
3 years? Okay, let's be honest. If you're a business and you have remote access to all the computers in a business or whatever, well, you should be an auto updater at least, or to some degree. How is somebody at a bank in a position where their computers does stuff that's important, like not being monitored or updated? Like that seems brain dead. It's crazy how most big hacks, most big hits, whatever, start with like some fucking low-level bum-ass employee, level 1 tech. Wait, password for the big boss? No, I got it right here. It's on my it's 1 2 3 4 5. Like, holy shit, dude.